Come here, buddy. Yes. Love you. Alright, come here. Time for us to start. Time for us to start James's Gems of the Week, Loki. Yes. Hello, friends. James Stevenson here. James's Gems of the Week coming right up. This will be the best episode yet. I have pumped up my audio by 16 decibels to this microphone and cheated it into the frame so it can do a better job capturing my audio and Loki's. He doesn't make a lot of noise, but I will leave him in the frame, so you've got something better to look at than my ugly mug as we review the tweets that I liked on Tesla Twitter over the past week, and I explain why I liked them, thus James's Gems of the Week. So I will share my desktop with you and bring up Twitter, where I have already queued this up to the last tweet that I covered on last week's episode of James's Gems of the Week from @TeslaSG, showing that global BEV sales are led by Tesla over the first half of 2022, with some other companies trailing behind. So the next tweet that I liked came from Elon Musk, @Elon Musk on Twitter. You may have heard of him. He's the CEO of Tesla, and he tweeted, "Congrats, Giga Shanghai, on making millionth car. Total Teslas made now over 3 million." So that was a pretty great accomplishment for Tesla. Not just a million from the formerly muddy field in Shanghai. There were a lot of doubters, skeptics, haters, Tesla Q members spreading FUD in 2019 about this muddy field. And I'll talk more about that right now, because the next tweet that I liked came from Earl of Frunkpuppy, who, at the same time this tweet came out, not coincidentally, Earl of Frunkpuppy, at 28 delays later, did a great interview with Tesla Herbert recently, so go check that out. Dr. Earl Banning, interviewed by Tesla Herbert. I myself did an interview with Tesla Herbert earlier today, so that'll be airing sometime soon. Or it's probably already out by now if you're watching this video. You can go check out his interview with me. We talked about Tesla earnings and some charts and Stevenson indicator and a bunch of other topics. So he was retweeting me from October 21st, 2018, when there was a doubter named Tomi who thought that Shanghai, Tesla's Gigafactory, wouldn't be producing 500,000 vehicles before 2030. So I went into a long thread trying to explain to Tomi why he was incorrect and that it would not take anywhere near that long for Tesla to achieve that level of production in China. Next, a tweet from Holmar's blog, @Holmar's blog on Twitter. Let's chase this through and find out where it's coming from. It started with Dan O'Dowd and an apology. I made a video about this. He was Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today a couple of episodes ago. This was his tweet that he had to headline apology so that you would even be able to tell that it was supposed to be an apology after reading it. It began well enough. "I'm sorry that I misled you," he did. "I relied on reports from others that I did not verify." I mean, that's either true or it's not. Either he's lying or he's incompetent. But he wants you to believe that he's an expert on full self-driving. So somehow or another, it's not... It is incongruent to believe that he's an expert at FSD and that he was misled by others about FSD. But I do believe that he misled us. And then he continued to say some FUD about FSD. Typical. So, well, I guess I should say what he said. "I can report that it is the most incompetently designed, implemented, and tested product I've ever seen." So Mars Catalog replied, "So you should be able to make a better one, right?" Because if you can't do better than the worst software in the world, that would make you the world's biggest moron, right? Oh, that's a good point. FSD is hard. It's hard to make cars drive themselves in the real world. That's a big, tough problem. You can't call Tesla's approach the worst if you can't do any better at Green Hills Software, which Dan O'Dowd is the owner of. Next, a tweet from N. Noppenlois. I'm going to get that name pronounced correctly one of these days. In Icelandic. You mean in January when virtually nobody, including drivers with 99 out of 100 safety scores, had it? There was continuous complaining from Tesla drivers with 99 out of 100 scores asking when they were going to get it. How did you not notice? So what's going on here? Well, I would tell you if I wasn't blocked by Neil Boudet. He blocked me this past week for pointing out that he was complaining that Tesla didn't have any... well, here he is over here. I can't follow him because he blocked me. If I click this button, it says, "You have been blocked from following this user at their request." I tried. So he's a New York Times reporter, and he put a thread out saying he thought it was awful that Tesla doesn't have any driver monitoring systems. And the Tesla Q people, half of them in the comments were like, yeah, go get them. Tesla, of course they don't, because they're incompetent and they can't figure out how to make a driver monitoring system. And half the comments from the Tesla fans in that thread were, hey dummy, Tesla does have robust driver monitoring systems which nag you all the time if you look away from the road while the car is moving. So stop complaining that it doesn't exist. And then after I retweeted him with some commentary about exactly that, he replied saying, yeah, but Tesla doesn't use infrared. And since that is his preferred sensor hardware, he says you don't have any driver monitoring system at all if you don't have infrared. Or it doesn't count as robust to Neil unless it has infrared for some reason. As though Neil knows whether infrared is necessary or not. He probably just read credulously somebody else's tweet that said that you have to have infrared. Same as you have to have LiDAR, right? People say that and they don't know. All right, so that happened. And then I replied here saying, story checks out, right? Richard Garriott, Jeremy Judkins, Alex Got Soul, Tesla Noma. And then why did I call them out in particular? Because they were asking for FSD beta, the same as NHTSA was. So what Neil said is, hey, NHTSA couldn't get FSD beta on their car, and that's fraud, and that proves Tesla's being adversarial against NHTSA. Well, no, it proves that NHTSA was one of, hundreds of thousands of Teslas waiting for FSD beta, along with all these folks who were trying to get FSD beta. If you don't know how to search for stuff this way, it's pretty easy in Twitter. If you know the format that you need to phrase your questions in the search bar. So if you do it this way, it'll give you a date range, and then you can search for a handle that you know would have been in the tweet, and then, the words that you're searching for. So, yeah, that's some FUD fighting that I liked on the part of Noppenlois, so that was good. Jeremy Judkins replied, so I liked that. And Tesla Noma replied, so I like that. They didn't get it until June. And let me see if I got another one. Yeah, Richard Garriott said he's hit 100 off and on for some time, finally decided to just keep driving normally and wait for it. So he still doesn't have FSD, and it's, mid-August, right? So nothing weird happening, just that's the slow rollout of FSD. It started with only Tesla employees, and then it was only a few dozen beta testers, and then only a few hundred, and then only a few thousand. And now it's a whole lot wider than that. Next we go to Shorty Air Force, at S Air Farce. Farce, not force. Tesla Q trying to rally truck drivers against the Tesla Semi, or just no logical thought as to how it could work. Drivers are required to take a 30-minute break per shift, and the Semi is said to charge in 30 minutes. There are no coincidences. It can also be charged while loading/unloading. So, yeah, value dissenter, a longtime Tesla hater here, saying LOL at economic advantage. And the US and EU have strict trucking laws that limit how many hours a driver can drive in a shift, day, and week. The added time spent recharging is straight lost revenue for the driver, and the battery can't cover a full shift. Dead on arrival. Well, this is somebody who may not have a lot of experience with electric vehicles to understand that the driver can take their break while the vehicle is recharging. And you can recharge the vehicle overnight, or you can recharge the vehicle while it's loading and unloading. The truck isn't constantly in motion at all times throughout the day. When it's stopped, you charge it. That's how you address that problem. It's actually very convenient, most EV drivers realize, after having an EV for a short period of time. You don't have to go to the gas station if every morning your gas tank is full. If there were a service that came to your house every night and topped off your tank for you at 4 a.m., how often would you need to go to the gas station? Very rarely, right? That is what happens with an EV. You plug it in every night, it's got a full charge every morning. Unless you're driving more than 250 miles that day, you're not going to have to stop to charge that car. All right, next. Let's see here. Did I do this right? Well, I wanted to show you this thread. For others, Tomi blocks here. So Tomi blocked me on this thread that Earl was mentioning earlier. So here's the Tomi 2030 is, by my math, more than 11 years from now tweet. So I can't read you through all of this, but I can summarize. So the top of the thread was just me saying, hey, once Tesla's China Gigafactory ramps up, it'll double Tesla's worldwide vehicle production to greater than 1 million. And Tomi said no, that it would only double to 640,000, not 1 million, and that 500,000 or so from China would happen in 2030, sorry, not anytime soon. Great analysis otherwise. So I had to reply and say, hey, I'll bet you any amount of money Tesla's producing more than 500,000 vehicles in China in 2030. So he said, can't sell in Model 3 in Europe, no homologation. I said, they're already in Europe. Maybe you think Tesla got permission to sell the Model S and the Model X in Europe, but they won't for their best-selling vehicle. Why would you believe that? He says the large screen the EU wouldn't accept, so that was FUD. He thought, exactly, he says, your theory is that maybe Q3 2018 was the peak production Tesla will ever have, that they will never have another quarter where they produce as many. And he said it's likely driven more by lack of demand than inability to produce as many cars. So I had to come back and say, hey, Tesla has the number one Net Promoter Score, number one in customer satisfaction, the top 3 safest vehicles in NHTSA testing. Sales were already taking off back then. And he said there's good analysis on demand at prices Tesla can afford to manufacture cars for, and it's a lot less than the backlog supported Q3 deliveries suggest. So I had to remind Tomi, hey, a lot of people are doing the Tesla stretch, paying more for a Model 3 than they would ever have paid because they're not luxury car people, right? And he said, I'm going to roll with the economic realities on this one. So I had to say, hey, you don't think 1 million people worldwide could be convinced to buy a Tesla? You don't think the Model Y and the Cybertruck are going to sell at all? So he said I lived in a Tesla bubble in regard to the last few points. So I had to say, hey, it's called disruption because EVs are disrupting fossil fuel vehicles. People are going to buy EVs because they're better And you can tell that by looking at polling data that this trend is coming. People are going to want to buy EVs, and Tesla has the #1 brand and the #1 customer satisfaction and the #1 net promoter score. And I went on and on for a few more memes after that. But yeah, there's that one. Let's go back to my likes. That's what happened, is I went to the wrong place. So down we go. Let's find where we were. Okay, here's where we were when we left off. Sorry if I made you dizzy scrolling so fast. So there was that one. Next, a tweet from Matt Smith at MattChasmMatt. So GM paid business to write a gushing story about Mary Barra and then promote that story on Twitter? No wonder people don't trust traditional media anymore. So what do we have in the screenshot here? We've got a tweet from Bloomberg Green at Climate, a verified Twitter account, tweeting carbon neutrality by 2040 is only part of the plan. Just ask CEO Mary Barra. Sponsored by GM. And down here it says promoted. What kind of a goal is to be carbon neutral by 2040? Tesla is carbon neutral now in 2022. If you check out the environmental report that Tesla put out, the amount of electricity being produced, with no pollution at all from solar panels, is exceeding all the energy Tesla produces and all the energy exerted by all of Tesla's electric vehicles worldwide. So 2040, that's a long time from now. That is 18 years. That's a while. We talked about this one earlier. So next a tweet from Peter Campbell here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. There was a crash in Germany of a BMW that was not a fully autonomous driverless vehicle. It was a level 2 driver assistance system. So there was a driver, and as the police describe it, that vehicle jerked or veered into oncoming traffic and had a head-on collision. And a lot of people were injured in that crash and in some other ones that happened because of it. And somebody died, I think. But it's the same kind of level 2 driver assistance system that FSD Beta is, level 2. All right, next a tweet from Bradford Ferguson at Brad S. Ferguson on Twitter. Whose market share did Tesla take? And he's retweeting Holmar's blog here, showing U.S. luxury vehicle sales. So let me make this bigger. That's pretty good. And these are U.S. sales I just mentioned. So at the top of the list here is Tesla. Tesla is the #1 luxury seller of EVs in the U.S. over the first half of 2022, with 228,989 vehicles sold, against a prior year 142,000 vehicles. So by my math, that's like 85,000 more vehicles this year than last year. That's taking a lot of market share. Probably. Well, let's see how the other automakers did. So BMW down 22,000, 23,000. Lexus down 31,000. Somebody has to be up. Let's keep checking. Mercedes down 20,000. Audi down 40,000. Cadillac down 16,000. Acura down. Ooh, what is this? This is 35,000 from 90. That's a lot. Volvo down 14,000. Lincoln down 10,000. Porsche down 4,000. Nobody increased sales year over year except Tesla. Many lunches are being eaten by Tesla. The next tweet that I liked from Holmar's blog. Just because I post a cool video of FSD Beta doesn't mean it won't try and kill you when you try it. Always be careful and never let your guard down. I thought this was a good reminder for FSD Beta testers. Always remain vigilant and in control of your vehicle. do not let it crash. That's your responsibility as a driver. Next, a tweet from Teslarati. Calpen, Bloomberg, and Panasonic are filming a new series at the Tesla Gigafactory in Sparks, Nevada. The series will focus on clean tech and sustainability. So this was the series from which we saw that clip posted to social media, might have been Instagram or something, of a battery conveyance robot cart that was playing Super Mario Brothers music so that people could hear it coming and get out of the way. I thought that was pretty cool. So we can look forward to more insights from this as those get published. Next, another tweet from Bradford Ferguson. Sorry, I thought you were going to read sections aloud. Whoops, masterfully done. What are we talking about here? This was last week's episode 10 of Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today. So in this video, I featured an article published in New York Magazine with a lot of profanity in it. So it was unavoidable that I had to share what I was reacting to on the screen in that video, but I myself refrained from use of the kind of vile epithets short sellers share with each other when commiserating over the gargantuan losses they incurred betting against Elon Musk, which you should never do. Next, a tweet from Tesla. This Bloomberg article is false. David Searle has not left Tesla. What's this talking about? Well, it's FUD from Bloomberg about executive departures. You guys remember when executive departures was the flavor of the week? Back in 2018, 2019, Jim Chanos would publish his list of executives who had left Tesla and said that it was rats deserting a sinking ship and that you could tell that the company was going to go bankrupt because nobody wanted to be around when it happened. Well, I guess Bloomberg decided to run a story about a guy leaving the company who did not leave the company. So don't believe everything you read, even if it's in Bloomberg. Next, a tweet from Ali4680 at Ali_Tesla MY. I'm not poor, I'm not rich. What I am is a middle-class American who can't afford continuing paying for fossil fuels. I also understand that the future is all about autonomy, understand that Tesla has the safest cars, and the best car for my money. Family safety is more important than a tax credit. So I like that tweet, thought this was a good photo. A few tweets here, 1, 2, 3 from Elon Musk. Let's chase this through and see what was going on here. Here we go. It's a tweet from me, James Stevenson, at @ICannot_enough. Hey, Elon Musk, will Teslas ever be able to automatically adjust the side mirror settings for new drivers based on 3D position of the driver's eyes, plus comparing against the fleet's internal camera data and side mirror settings? And Elon replied, yes, but side mirrors won't be needed in a self-driving future. He chased on to that reply. Side mirrors cause about 5% range reduction at highway speed, which not every CEO would know this just off the top of their heads. He's a special kind of cat, Elon Musk, understanding physics better than most executives do. And he also replied, that said, we will add auto configure to side mirrors. And Sawyer Merritt also got a reply from Elon Musk here to his question. Are we going to legally be able to take off the side mirror of the Cybertruck after delivery? And Elon replied, modifying your car after delivery is legal in America, so yes, smiley face. I would add on that this is not legal advice from Elon Musk, so be sure that you are in compliance with the laws governing your local traffic, and that you don't get on the wrong side of the law for removing anything from your vehicle that is required by law. All right, so I guess briefly I'll just say I have been very fortunate over the years to have gotten a few replies from Elon Musk, and I think it's awesome that he takes the time to reply to average, regular people like me. So that's pretty cool. Next tweet from Lex Friedman. When people ask me who I voted for, now you know. And the meme here says, the left wing said they'd abolish poverty. Right wing said they'd abolish bureaucracy. Odin said he'd abolish ice giants. Where are the ice giants? Vote Odin. This is inarguable logic right here. Poverty, still around. Bureaucracy, still around. Ice giants, nowhere to be found. So Odin has kept his campaign promises, so I like that tweet. Next, a tweet from Shorty Air Farce. But as usual, it all comes back to our entertaining friends at Tesla Q. They're currently trying to dismiss Elon's comments to I cannot underscore enough about mirrors as an elaborate smokescreen to distract from this hard-hitting report that no one but them is talking about. So what do we have here? So I guess in Shortville, they're all up in arms over, I think it's the North Carolina, some safety advocacy group that, if you dig, is actually funded by fossil fuel interests. Yeah, in this tweet, shorting is fun, longtime Tesla hater, is suspecting this is a smokescreen, yeah, that pre-coordinated between me and Elon, I guess. You know how Elon's the richest man in the world? By living rent-free in the minds of the haters. Next, a tweet from Elon Musk here. Nice letter from Bill Nix, who would have been my prof at Stanford if I hadn't put grad studies on permanent deferment. So, nice letter here. Elon was going to get a doctorate in physics from Stanford. But he changed his mind, decided to go found some companies, and that worked out for him pretty well. But the science made progress even without him around to help, so that was good. Next, a tweet from Holmar's blog. Tesla Gigafactory Texas has produced 1,000 cars in a week. So what you see here is a whole lot of signatures from the people at Giga Texas who helped to make those 1,000 cars. And if you dive through here, there's a reply from Landon of the West at West Teslarado, who found a very interesting comment left on the poster, I led. A very short but very powerful expression there, to which Stephen Mark Ryan replied with the skull emoji, saying dead. He is deaded by that comment. And I replied, the Giga Austin worker who savagely wielded that Sharpie has almost certainly aided in the production of more EVs than GM sold globally in Q4. Pardon me as I take a sip of my coffee. And Alex Ramirez pointed out that the Twitter timeline showed him that tweet directly above an ad from Chevrolet for the all-electric Chevy Blazer EV. Twitter playing the ultimate troll. And I replied to that one. Even after all the Bolt recall drama, GM still named their next EV the Blazer. Why? Why would they do that? They did. They sure enough did. All right. So next a tweet from Lightning, Ryan Fulcher, at D0LI0 on Twitter. I don't know what that handle stands for. It took me long enough, but here we are at I cannot underscore enough. So he signed up to be a Patreon supporter of mine. So I'll just click on that real quick and mention that if you would like to support my efforts and buy Loki some dog treats, you can do so for as low as $4.20 per month and get all the information that I post early to Patreon, including videos like this one. If you're a big fan of James's Gems of the Week, those get posted about a week early here. Sometimes other videos as well, and my forecasts usually get posted to Patreon first. I'll try and do that more consistently going forward. Sometimes I've, in the past, have tweeted them to Twitter first instead of to Patreon, but there are some good benefits there you can check out. I never run any ads or sponsorships on my videos, but thought I would mention that one. EV Passion at BENMEBOUBA on Twitter tweeted, "What's amazing about rereading these tweets from the past is how much you warned the shorts that they were going to be burned." So I liked that. And replied, "I really did try every way I could think of to warn them. Scroll up this thread and count the different arguments," which is kind of the only way you can do it if Tomi has blocked you, because you won't be able to scroll down the thread from the top if he's blocked you. You'll only be able to scroll up from the bottom. So here's where we left off earlier, going down this thread, where I mentioned the 96 Net Promoter Score. Here's a meme that looks okay on the screen. If you want to pause that and read it, you can. I'm not going to read it. But yeah, Tesla makes products people love on purpose. That's the strategy. This is how the US unit sales were doing in 2018. I saw a trend here up that Tomi did not. Model 3 was already the #1 selling vehicle in the US, though it was not being reported by anybody other than me with my dumb handmade chart that at the time I was making on my iPad. I stopped making this one. Here's the following on Twitter for various car brand handles. If you look up Tesla today, it's a lot more than 3 million. And, well, these guys are doomed. This was the first meme that I made trying to illustrate to Tesla Q, hey, it's not the albatross you think it is. It's not the bad omen you believe it to be that there's a long waiting list to get a Tesla. The backlog does not indicate that once Tesla has gone through it, there will be no more buyers. It indicates that there is strong demand and that Tesla will win in the coming disruption of electric vehicles versus combustion engine vehicles. And ending with the Tesla Q, I can talk, logic flowchart, which shows if there are too many cars in parking lots or not enough cars in parking lots. Either way, the conclusion is that's bad and Tesla is doomed. And the logic works similarly for almost anything else that could be news about Tesla. No matter what, it means Tesla is doomed. That's what the Tesla Q logic flowchart says. All right. Enough on that. So I will back out of this and point out what Alex at AJ Tourville on Twitter said. Harking back to July 20th, Elon Musk said Gigatex's to exceed 1,000 vehicle per week milestone in hopefully the next few months. And then 30 days later it happened. Here are the signatures, right? This is good. This means Gigatex's is ramping. It took a while, but the ramp is making progress, so that's good news. And James Catt, I believed, replied to that with Austin at 1,000 per week and 2 shifts running, and the news that Berlin is going to 3 shifts in December, which we heard from Jörg Steinbach in Germany. By the end of the year, he said. One would think Austin would mirror this plan and aim to ramp it up in Q1 23. So, yeah, Austin and Berlin are ramping. And here's that tweet from Alex Ramirez that I liked. And that brings you up to date on James's Gems of the Week. So, with that, I will say, if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you could go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell if you want to know when I release new videos. And I will see you in the next one.